Hello everyone, and welcome to another Wet Wet Wednesday video. For today's video we're going to be making a cute little little wedding card for my husband's friend and his soon-to-be, well, by the time this video goes up, it will be his wife. I'm going to be using the Happy Wedding stamp set from Lawn Fawn because I think it's super cute, but I also saw the couple in this one as soon as I saw the stamp set. I can see this being the newlywed couple. So I am going to use the stamp set and the coordinating dies. And I have everything stamped out and ready to go. So I have my little birdie here and the cakes. I'm going to be using this one because I think it just stamped out the best out of the four. So I'm going to set that aside and let that finish completely drying, and we're going to zoom in and start working on the little birdies here. I did stamp them twice so that because the first one had a little oops there. So the colors that I'm going to be using throughout the card are C2, C0, R20, BG49, and Y26. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why I picked these two colors. Well, these are as close to the wedding colors as I could find. In fact, actually, this one is one of her colors. She is having a mustard colored yellow. And then the other one is kind of a, as she put it, it's a dark turquoise, I believe is what she called it. So I showed her these colors and she said that these looked the closest. So I am going to be using these colors throughout my card. So as well as the colorless blender. So to start off, we're going to color the little birdies. We're going to give them just a little bit of shadow, just so they look or just so they have a little bit of color on them. So I'm just using my C0 and then I'm going to take the colorless blender and just soften that line. This helps them look white. I couldn't figure out what color to do the birds because I really wanted the wedding colors to stand out on them. So I decided just to stick with little white birdies. Now their beaks are going to be the Y26. And then her little flower is going to be our BG49. I'm not doing anything real fancy. There's no shading to any of these. And then I'm going to take the R20 and I'm going to do their cheeks. I'm going to give him little dots and then I'm going to blend the heck out of those. And then I'm giving her a little bit bigger cheeks so it'll spread out. But I want his to be very, very, very light. So I'm just gonna dot over it several times to really blend that out for both of them. But especially him, very faded. So there's our little birdies. I'll let that completely dry and then come back to it. And then for our cake here, I'm going to be taking the same colors, but I'm also going to be adding R29. So we're going to start with the R29 and we're going to color in the hearts. The only real shading that's going to happen here is going to be on the cake itself. I want it to be a white cake. So I'm going to give it just a little bit of shading so it looks more white. Okay. And then I did a test run and I actually really liked the color combo with the red. So we're going to go with the yellow here on the cake. Good, I am still in camera, or in frame. And I decided to do the dark colors first instead of the shading. That way, if any of the color bleeds over, I can use the lighter colors to kind of push them back. I'm just gonna rotate my image here, get back in camera, so I can get the whole cake plate. My husband gets to go to the wedding, and I am, I'm gonna say stuck at home. I'm not really stuck, but by the time this goes up and he leaves for the wedding, we will have only been home for a week since our little family vacation. So it seemed a little silly to try and have either my parents come watch the kids so we can both go, or take them out of school even longer, because we'd have to leave on a Friday to get to the ceremony. I'm only using the C2 underneath the decoration there because it is the darkest, and I want that to look like it's standing out a little bit more. So I'm going to go over it with the C0 to soften. So it just made more sense to send my husband to go to the wedding, because he really wanted to be there and celebrate them, than to try and figure out how to either send the kids off somewhere or take the kids out of school. So this works. Okay, I'm just softening all of the gray so that it doesn't look so harsh. And then once that dries, it'll look a little bit better, but you can see the shadow there, right? Okay. So I also have the little birdies for the inside. So I'm going to give those a quick color. And do the same thing. Do just tiny little dots for him. And blend those suckers out. And then blend hers out as well. Because again, I want hers to stand out more than his. And then we're just gonna color their little beaks. And for flower. And I'm going to take everything over to my die cutting machine and cut everything out that we will be using for this card. And I will be right back. Sorry about that. I realized I was off camera just as I was getting ready to pause it. There you go. Be right back. Okay, so all my little pieces are cut out here. I have my, this is the, what is this? This is the Petite Scallops Circles Large that I have right here. And then I have just some 110 pound white cardstock we're going to be doing with that. And then I have all my little pieces, so I'm going to move them all off to the side here. I also have my background piece, which I seem to have missed. I'd sit down somewhere. There we go. Found it. This is from the, let me zoom out so you can see. This is from Pebbles Ink, Share and Tell, their 4x6 creative pad. I got this at Tuesday Morning a long time ago, so I just dug it out to use in the card. I think it gives it a nice, subtle little color and pattern and stuff there. So I'm using that. But on our card front here, we put my scrap piece of paper down. And I'm also going to get my removable adhesive so that I can glue this down. We're going to put a pattern on our card here. We're going to be taking the little heart chain thing and doing that here. We're going to be doing some 4th generation stamping. So let me zoom in so you can see. Bring that up, try and center that, and zoom out just a, oops. There we go. Okay, and we know that our image is going to go in the center, so I'm going to take my image. It's going to go towards the bottom. And I'm going to mark the outside of it very lightly. This will just help to give me an idea of where I can put things and where not to put things. So I do want to start in the center of the circle. So hopefully my head won't get in the way. Okay, I think I'm going to need to grab one of the pages here from my mini MISTI instead, so I have some lines to go off of. Just give me just a second to grab that. Because I don't want to get ink on my craft mat. I had to think of what it's called. Okay, so I'm not worried about this part here being behind the cake. I just want to kind of center. Okay. And then we're going to stamp off so you get a very faint background here. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that. And again, I'm not worried because it's all going to be behind the cake. I'm just trying to line that up a bit. And then our next one will be centered. Sorry if my head is in the way. And then off the page. Now for this, because I don't want the extra line, I'm going to clean off my stamp. Get it nice and clean. In fact, so clean I'm going to stamp off onto the paper to ensure that my stamp has no ink. And then I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to cover up the side of the heart that is not, I don't want stamped. So I don't want this part here stamped. Ink that up. And then I'm going to attach that as best I can so it looks like it's attached. And then do the same thing down here on the bottom. And again, do the same thing. Clean off the stamp really well. Just stamping it off to ensure that I've got all the ink off. And then we're going to cover up the opposite side, or the same side there. Move the tape and line that up as best I can, stamp it off. So now it makes this really pretty pattern, and I'm going to close up my ink so I don't inadvertently touch that, mess everything up. And I'm going to take my eraser and erase my little pencil marks. Or my eraser, not my pencil. Maybe I said that right. Did I say that right? I'm not sure. Because again, these were just a guide so I can see where my cake was going to sit. There it is. I'll move these out of the way. And then we will glue down our cake here. I'm just going to use some Tombow, excuse me, some Tombow Mono Multi. Make sure it's unclogged. Okay. To glue that down. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little birdies here and I'm going to glue them in place as well. Actually, I'm going to take my tweezers because they're small and I want to get glue all over it. And I'm just going to tuck it under just a bit. And do the same for him. Apologize if I'm off camera, just putting glue on the back. He is going to hang off just a little, and that's okay. So there's our little birdies, and now we're going to take our circle here and we're going to put it on Centering that as best we can. And then I'm going to take, I'll find my card base, because I seem to have misplaced that too. All over the place. So there's our little piece here. I'm going to zoom out when we do the rest of the card. I love the very subtle pattern that's behind her. Okay. Now for the inside of the card, we're going to stamp our sentiment. And we're using the sentiment You Tied the Knot. So I'm just going to zoom out a bit more. There we go. Line it up here on my grid mat, just so I know it's straight. And then we're going to take our little birdies. I want to stamp this right underneath them, so it looks like they're kind of standing on it. So I'm going to place my card here and line it up on my grid mat so I know that it's straight. Yeah. And I'm just going to use Memento black ink. But I am going to find my scrap paper because I have not stamped this one out yet, so I want to make sure I get a nice stamped image. That aside. I'm going to give that just a second to dry because I've noticed with 110-pound cardstock it doesn't absorb in right away, which is fine. I don't mind. And we're going to take our Tombow and our little birdies and attach them to the inside. So there's that. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to put the block on it upside down, but to ensure that my image stays flat. And we're going to, so I wanted a nice band to go across the front for this front sentiment. So I just took some 110-pound cardstock, again it's just scrap that I had sitting on my desk, and used the BG49 to color it. I made it wider than I wanted, and I'm going to go ahead and trim that out. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, there we go. I'm going to trim that out, and this is going to be half an inch wide. I had to think about what I wanted there. And then our card is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the strip is just over 4 1/4. So very little room for error. Very, very little room for error. So I'm going to put it on my pattern paper so at least I can center my sentiment. And ink that up. Hope I have it facing the right way. looked like there were some fuzzies on there, so I wanted to test it. So we're just gonna center that. Okay. Again, give that a chance to dry, and we're gonna go ahead and stick our front panel onto our card base. I'm just going to use some Tombow to give us a little bit of wiggle room. Just a little bit of a border all the way around. So, didn't think about it before I did that, but our little band actually will fit the width of our card, so I'm going to leave it like that instead of cutting it down. I think that'll be a nice touch. Now, before I add my little guys here, I was thinking I wanted to give him a little bit of a bow tie, but now that I'm seeing it, I'm thinking that maybe he doesn't need a bow tie. Nope. We're just going to leave him as he is. Go ahead and glue this down. The glue that's hanging over the edge there. I'm going to put our little strip on so I know how use my block here to weigh that down. Let's give that a good little press down. And then for the last touch, I'm going to add just a little bit of bling. I just took some white pearls that I had and colored them with the mustard color. So I'm just going to add these to the corner here, maybe. Hopefully they'll stick. Just for a little something. So there we go. There's the little wedding card. I think it turned out so stinking cute. I really love it. I kind of don't want to give it to him now. I may have to make a second one. So there's our card. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So sorry it's a long video. I think I'm going to have to go back to doing voiceovers so that I can just create and then edit later. So thank you guys so much for joining me and have a wonderful day. Bye.